All right, we're going to start with the CNC conversation, and part of this is going to be looking at a sign project that we may or may not actually cut out, but it's an excellent tool to be able to walk through multiple tool paths. So all I'm going to do right now is make a sign. Doesn't have to be any specific size really, but I'm going to make a 12 by 6 rectangle that is just shy of 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to go rectangle tool and extend it out by 12 inches and 6 inches. So I've got a nice big piece of wood. I'm going to extrude that thing to make it a little shy of 3/4 of an inch. So I'm going to turn that into 0.7. Great. So that's going to be our finished sign that we're aiming for. But I want to carve something out to make it look cool. So we're going to make a separate place for us to put whatever text we're wanting to cut out as a sign. So I'm going to start another 2D sketch on this front face. I'm going to put another rectangle right there, and let's dimension this thing just to give it some proper symmetry. So if I dimension this thing, let's see, that's, so I don't know, 3/4 of an inch seems fine. I'm going to create a gap all the way around the outside edge. That's 0.75, 3/4 of an inch. All right, that rectangle, we're going to extrude that into the piece of wood. And make sure you select, so you can bring it out just to see what you're doing, but then turn it around. We're going to cut into the piece of wood, but not all the way through. We just want to cut into the piece of wood, maybe 1/4 inch. So I'm going to be carving that out, but I wanted to carve out something interesting. So let's try the text tool and add a bit of text. So I'm going to do one final 2D sketch on that face, where I am going to use the text of the word peace. World peace. So if I do that, that's pretty lame. That text is way too small. So if I escape out, I should be able to make that text go white if I zoom in over it. So if I can make it go white, I can bring my text back. Weird thing about the text tool within Inventor is that I have to select that text inside that box in order to modify it. And let's jump to like some sort of custom 2-inch size, and let's see where that takes us. So if I make the text size 2 inches, seems like it actually still has quite a bit of space. So one more time, let's go all the way to 2. I think 2.5 is going to be too big. So 2.25. Having some space between letters is actually fantastic because we want a tool to pass in between all of these letters. So something to consider is that if when you selected your text, this button on the top corner actually allows you to stretch it out. So if I go to 110 instead of 100, it's going to stretch my letters out a bit and fill up that space and actually produce a bit of a gap between my letters. So if I finish that sketch, that looks pretty good. I'm not going to dimension that. It doesn't have to be super perfect. I'm going to bring that back out 1/4 of an inch. And then let's see if we can recognize that we have a bit of relief. So if I carved that out, I'd have a sign that said peace on it. The tool we're going to be using, like any CNC tool, is rounded. So these corners are impossible for me to carve and make those completely perpendicular. So the one tool I'm going to ask you to try, or it'll do this automatically anyway, so it's kind of nice to build it into your design, is just to take that edge and make it actually rounded, because the tool bit is rounded, it's going to happen anyway. So it gives you a better feel of what you're going to be ending up with. So now if I press check mark, I have a sign. That represents what I'm going to try to carve away on the CNC. Next video, we'll start our tool paths.